Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another video. Now, in this one, this is going to be kind of a part 2 to the video you see on the screen here for the Elecom huge trackball mouse thing. So, in the last video, what I did was I modded this bad boy to use the new bearings. You can check out the video here. And I also tried it out on Windows, since fuck it, I just tried it out on Windows, why not? I can't think of an excuse, but yeah. So, and the software on Windows was just complete garbage. It was like one of the worst I've seen so far. But thankfully, because I use Linux, we don't need to deal with that shit. And we can use the X input utility to do whatever we want. And thankfully, it actually works really nicely. So I got this trackball to behave like pretty much exactly as I wanted to in Linux. So it's actually going to be very similar to the Kensington Expert trackball Linux config that I have here. So yeah, I just created a new repo for this. It's called Elecom huge trackball Linux config. I'll have it in the repo or in the description. So if you were to download this script as is, here is what will happen. So left click will remain as left click. Middle click, I rebounded to the FN1 key, and the FN1 key pretty much does nothing. So I just disabled clicking this thing because it's, first of all, it's kind of hard to click, and for some reason FN1 key looks like it's back or something. Ah, okay, I see what's going on. Okay. So that was a mistake on my end, but fuck it. It is grand. So yeah, what happens is if I click the FN1 key, apparently it's gonna go and click on the back tick, but whatever. Okay, that's new to me. I thought it actually disabled it. Fuck. Well, it is what it is. Shouldn't matter too much. Because I won't be like using this clicking on this because it's kind of hard. But yeah, anyway, right click is right click. Scroll wheel up is the same thing. And then the scroll wheel, when you actually like press the scroll wheel kind of this way, because you can press them sideways for some reason, but yeah, you can. It's gonna be, you know, how it was before. Now, next thing, on the back button, so this is this button here. I set that to middle click, and I set this forward button to middle click as well. Now you'll see why I set them to two different things. Yeah. And then the FN1 key, this is the one at the top, I set that to the back button. So if I press this, you know, the browser will go back in history. And then this one, FN2, is forward in history. And FN3, which is this button here, I set that to right click as well. So both of these buttons, I found while using this trackball, like both of these buttons are hard to distinguish with your hand. If you're, you know, constantly going from keyboard, trackball, it's hard to distinguish them. So I just set both of them to right click. Because like, to be honest, I don't really need any more kind of functionality. Now, so yeah, ball acceleration will be disabled. So this means that when you spin the ball, it won't have the mouse acceleration. So if you spin it fast, usually with the mouse acceleration, it'll go like towards the bottom of the screen. And if you spin it slow, it'll just spin slow. But here, no matter how fast you spin it, there will be no ball acceleration, which is, you know, what you want realistically, unless you're a strange man. But anyway, now here is the scrolling. So you can either use this thing to scroll like so, but that's, you know, not very comfortable, to be honest. So what I did was I remapped. So if you hold down this button, and you scroll and you move the mouse wheel up, you will see that it is scrolling like so. And this also acts as a middle click. So if you just press it once, but there's one big difference, and I'll show it to you here now. There's a reason why I set two middle clicks. So if I were to bring in this thing here, so you guys should see this bad boy here. And if I were to refresh the page, so if I were to click on this thing, you can see that it clicks, but it only clicks it after I release it. You actually cannot see it on OBS because on the recording, because it's too fast. But if I were to click it, as you can see, nothing is happening here. And if I move, well, it's meant to be scrolling, yeah. So if I move my mouse, it's like scrolling. But if I release it, okay, it was a bit dodgy. Hang on, let me refresh the page and then click inside the page. Yeah, so if I click it, and then if I release it, you'll see that only then it pops up. However, if I were to click it with the other middle mouse button, you can see that it's being held down. And if I try to move this cursor, as you can see, it moves the actual thing. It doesn't like scroll. And if I let go, as you can see, it let goes. Whereas with this one, or this one, it like moves the, oh, something became fucked now. Okay, so it moves the page up and down, and the mouse pointer doesn't actually move. So that's kind of the big difference between the two. And the other reason is, for if you're using this inside 3D programs, the middle mouse button is usually to rotate the camera. So if you were to use this one to rotate the camera, it would actually scroll down in the 3D program. But if you used this other middle button, it will actually rotate the camera properly inside the 3D program. So that's why there's two middle mouse buttons mapped. Yeah. So, and you'll see this in the settings right now. So what you want to do is you want to just simply download this Elecom huge setup thingy and save it wherever you want to run it. And then by running it, I recommend, well, if you're using like an i3 WM or something, you can put it inside here. So let's just show you. So it'll be inside your config. It'll be inside i3, then config. And so yeah, if you're using i3 VM, so as you can see, I have my Kensington script, and then I have the Elecom huge script as well. So just always running there. So whenever you refresh i3, it will rerun these scripts and it will reconfigure your trackball. So yeah, I find that kind of the best way to do it. But anyway, so I suppose I should talk about how you want to configure these. So you'll see here, I have here what's known as a default config. So I got this using Zev. Now, what this means is each of these buttons on the mouse, it has its own kind of ID pretty much. So ID 1 is left click, ID 2 is middle click, ID 3 is right click, and so on and so on. So if I were to run a program called Zev here, actually, wait. I need to do something here. Okay, there we go. So then if I were to click with left click, you'll see left click is button 1, right click is button 2, and then middle click is button, wait, the hell is going on? Oh yeah, right click is button 3, I mean, and left click is button 2. So if I were just to exit this thing, and if I would go back into here, so that's what you see here, and then I mapped out the rest of these IDs for the rest of the buttons. However, to map these IDs, what you need to do is, in this order, you can change the buttons around the place. So what I mean by that is it's a little bit confusing at first to get behind, but basically if you look at my modify layout mapping, so button ID 1 goes to 1, which means left click goes to left click. Now button ID 2 goes to ID 10, which means the middle click button goes to FN1 because that's ID 10. Now right click is the same, scroll wheel is the same. Now the back click, so this is this button here, the back, that's button ID 8, but it goes to button ID 2, and button ID 2 is the middle click. So that's how you remap those to be different IDs. So both of these are middle click. So that's why the back click and the forward click are both going to be remapped to button ID 2, which is the middle click. Now the FN1, which is these two FN2, they are going to be remapped to the back click and the forward click. So 8 and 9, and there you go, 8 and 9. And then the FN3 button, which is button ID 12, is going to be remapped to button ID 3, which is the right click. So that's how you can do it. So if you really wanted to, you can actually remap everything to left click. So just, you know, instead of all these, you could just put ones here. But this format is only useful for us humans. It's no good for the PC. So to convert it to a PC, it needs to be in this format. And to get that format, all you do is you just go down this list and write them out like so. So as you can see, 1, 1, 10, 10, 3, 3, 4, 4, and so on, so on. And then, so yeah, you just write out this second column in a list like this. And then you scroll down here and just put that list here as well. So yeah, both of these lists are at the exact same, or should be the exact same anyway. This is just comment boy, this is just for you, because it's kind of easier to do it from here. So yeah. Yeah. So that's how you would do the remapping. You would just literally use this command. Now, this next command is disabling natural scrolling. Now, what this means is, if you are to scroll up, you see the way I'm scrolling up and the page is going up, and if I'm scrolling down, the page is going down. If you enable natural scrolling, if I go up, the page will actually go down, which is for really strange men, so don't use that. Anyway, this next thing is to disable mouse acceleration, so that's fine. Now this next This next thing is setting the scroll method kind of thing. So this is just setting to the kind of the smooth scroll basically. And the last button is to set the scrolling button. So yeah, the scrolling button is number 8 here. So if you were to scroll up here, for number 8, this is the, this back button here. So that's how you set which button you want to use as scroll. So if you really wanted to, you can use any button. You can even use left click if you wanted to. So if you hold left click and hold this, you can then scroll the page. But I don't recommend doing that because then you won't really be able to, drag with left click like this. So I recommend setting it to middle click because that has the least undefined behaviors pretty much. So yeah. Yeah, so that's where you get this ID from. So make sure you have make sure you don't forget to change this basically. And then here is just kind of the defaults. If you ever want to go to defaults, you can have a look at this and then you can reset them back. So for example, here is if we were to get, so lib scroll method enabled. This should be somewhere here. Lib scroll, yeah, there we go. So lib input scroll method enabled. So by default, none of them are enabled. So this is why we need that setting to enable the super smooth scrolling. So yeah, that's kind of how the script is run. Now there's one thing that you might need to watch out for. I'm not sure if this will be a problem for you, but I guess we'll just have to see. So basically, if we were to do x input list, I believe, in the terminal here, I think this is one command. No, maybe not. Yeah. So if you were to do x input list, you will see all of your kind of keyboards, all of your mice. And so this is the name of the trackball, right? With ID 6. However, if you were to scroll down here, you will see that it is here again with the exact same name with ID 30. Now, what we're looking for is the virtual scroll or the virtual core controller or pointer, Jesus, instead of the keyboard. However, the ID or the name, I mean, for both of them is the same, which wasn't the case with the Kensington, because if you look at this, we have Kensington Expert Wireless TB mouse, right? And then here, if we search for Kensington, as you can see, it's TB Wireless Consumer Control. So instead of wireless TB mouse, it's TB Consumer Control, so we can distinguish the difference between these two. However, with the Elecom huge trackball, we can't actually distinguish the difference as such. So what the script does is it just gets the first one and kind of prays that that's good enough, and that should be good enough. So this is wait, where was I? Oh yeah, here. So yeah, this is by adding this head and one at the end. So head and one just means it's going to take only the first one as your ID. So that's why if you run the script here, so you'll see mouse ID is 16. Make sure this is correct, and actually do make sure this is correct. And in our case, it is. It's ID 16 instead of ID 30. Now, if you did get the wrong ID, you will actually get some errors here, and your mouse will probably stop working. So make sure that this should be fine. Like, I'm pretty sure the output of this should be the same for you as well, in the sense that it will display the virtual core pointer first before the keyboard. But if it displays the keyboard for you, you would need to do instead of head, you would need to do tail. So it will only display the last one if that comes up for you. But yeah, just one thing to watch out for, and this for Elecom huge specifically. And so yeah, apart from that, everything else is kind of straightforward. There's nothing else that's, really needed. So yeah. Also, if you unplug the trackpad or the trackball and plug it back in, you'll need to rerun this script. So make sure to remember that. That's why I have it inside my i3 config. So that's why if the trackball just disconnects randomly, all I need to do is I just need to refresh my i3 config, and it will rerun the script, and it'll be, good to go. So yeah. Oh yeah, also I suppose make sure you have these dependencies installed for the script to run. It doesn't check if these are installed because like you probably should have them already. But yeah, you'll just get a bunch of errors if you don't have them. So make sure you install all of these bad boys. And so yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.